Hey there and welcome. If you're running a service business, you know the deal. You're the go-to expert, the star player, the one every single client wants. But what happens when your own success kind of paints you into a corner? Well, today we're going to talk about how to break out of that time trap by productizing your service and building a business that can actually grow beyond you.
So let me ask you a question and be honest. Does it feel like your business just can't grow unless you figure out how to clone yourself? Are you spending all your time customizing solutions, working insane hours, and just hitting a wall on what you can possibly earn? If you're sitting there nodding your head right now, trust me, you are not alone. It's the classic trap for service providers.
And this image right here, it nails the problem perfectly. It's what we call the service provider's dilemma. I mean, your expertise is what built the whole company, right? It's your single greatest asset. But that exact same expertise becomes the biggest bottleneck, the thing that stops the business from ever really scaling. It's a super frustrating place to be.
I bet these pain points feel painfully familiar. Every new customer insists on working with you and only you. Billing by the hour means you're literally trading time for money, which puts a hard cap on your revenue. You do all the work, then you've got to chase the payment, which traps you in a negative cash flow cycle. And all those little extra charges, they just make your clients feel like they're being nickel and dimed. And the big result of all this? A business that's almost impossible to put a real value on, let alone sell one day. So what's the escape hatch? The answer is productization. And look, this isn't just some business buzzword. It's a real strategic process. It's all about taking that intangible expertise you have and packaging it into something tangible, something repeatable that doesn't need you involved every single time, and something you can finally truly scale. But to do this, it really does require a massive shift in how you think. You have to stop thinking about selling your time or your process, the tools you use. Instead, you need to focus 100% on selling a specific, predictable result for your customer. This famous quote from Harvard's Theodore Levitt just says it all, doesn't it? Your clients aren't really buying your consulting hours or your fancy design process. They're buying the outcome. They want the problem solved, the killer website, the peace of mind. To put it simply, you've got to start selling the whole, not the drill. All right, so how do we actually do this? We're going to use a simple 8-step blueprint. Think of this as your practical, step-by-step guide to finally escaping that time trap and building a business that can really scale. We're going to walk through each one of these 8 steps together. First, niche down. Then, find your TVR. Third is define your quarter-inch hole. Fourth, brand it. Then we have list ingredients, preempt objections, price it, and finally, manufacture scarcity. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, step 1, niche down. Now, I know what you're thinking. This feels totally backwards, right? I need more customers, not fewer. But here's the thing you have to understand. A service can be bent and twisted to fit almost anyone. A product can't. A product has to be a perfect, out-of-the-box fit for one very, very specific type of customer. Let me give you a great real-world example. So there's this UX consultant, Jane Portman. Instead of trying to help everyone, she decided to focus only on the owners of small software-as-a-service companies. That's it. And because she got so specific, she was able to create the absolute perfect product just for them, called the UI Audit. See? That's the magic of niching down. Okay, on to step 2, which is to find your TVR. What you do here is look at all the different things you offer your niche, and you find the one that checks 3 boxes. It's teachable, so you can train your team to do it. It's highly valuable to your customer, and it's repeatable, meaning they'll need it again or you can sell it over and over. That's your sweet spot. Here's how this looks in the real world. Imagine you run a photography business. Well, weddings are super valuable, but they have 0 repeatability, right? It's a one-time thing. Corporate events are just okay. But now, look at school photos. They're super easy to teach a team to do, they're incredibly valuable to parents, and guess what? They happen every single year. Bam! With a perfect score of 27, school photos is the obvious winner to turn into a product. Step 3, we're coming back to that drill. It is time to define your quarter-inch hole. You have to get crystal clear on the specific outcome, the result that you deliver. Don't just list a bunch of features, talk about the transformation you create or the problem that you make totally disappear for your customer. All right, next up, step 4, you've got to brand it. Think about it. Service providers have names, but products have brands. A great brand turns your service from something a person does into something a customer buys. It's what makes the intangible feel tangible.
And honestly, there is no better example of this than the Geek Squad. Best Buy didn't invent tech support. They just took a generic service, gave it a super memorable name, a cool uniform, and a branded car. And just like that, they turned it into a recognizable, trustworthy, and massively scalable product.
So step 5 is to list your ingredients. It is officially time to say goodbye to those custom proposals that take hours and hours to write. A product has a clear label, like on a can of soup. You need to define exactly what the customer gets. A fixed list of deliverables for one fixed price. No more, no less.
Now for step 6, preempt objections. See, when you're selling a service face-to-face, you can handle questions and doubts as they come up. But a product on a website, it has to sell itself. So you basically have to become a mind reader. Think of every single question, every doubt, every what if your ideal customer might have, and answer it right there on the page, up front. Step 7 is a big one. Price it. You have to stop quoting by the hour or by the project. A product has a price tag. Putting a fixed price right there on your website shows everyone that you have a standard, reliable offering. It builds so much trust, and it can shorten your sales cycle like you wouldn't believe. And you see this all the time with great companies like Scribe and Bench. Look, they don't hide their prices behind a "contact us for a quote" button. They display them in these clear, easy-to-understand tiers. This totally empowers the customer to choose what's right for them and buy, a lot of the time without ever needing to talk to a salesperson. And that brings us to our final step, number 8, manufacture scarcity. You know, the one great thing about a service business is that your time is naturally scarce, which creates urgency. But with a scalable product that's theoretically always available, you lose that. So you have to create a new reason for people to act now instead of putting it off. Here's a really clever way to do it, from Jason Swink. For his mastermind group for agency owners, there's no buy now button. Instead, you have to request an invite. This little change creates a huge sense of exclusivity and demand. It's not just another product, it's a private club that people suddenly really want to get into.
So after you've gone through all 8 of these steps, what's the real prize? What's the big payoff? Well, it's more than just growing your revenue. It's about achieving the ultimate goal, building a business that can truly, honestly thrive without you.
It all boils down to this one incredibly powerful idea. You get to detach your income from your time. And when you finally achieve that, you're no longer just self-employed. You are a true business owner. That, right there, is the freedom that productization can give you. So now you have it, the 8-step blueprint to totally transform your business. You get the why and you've got the how. The only question left is this. When you look at that very first step, niche down, what's the one small action you can take today to start this journey?